Hello, fellow flight simmers and cockpit builders. Thank you for your interest in BMSAIT. In this video, I want to show you how to set up the software to be able to create sketches you can flash on your Arduino boards and then interface this hardware with your flight sim. First of all, you're going to need to download the software. The BMSAIT software is available on GitHub. Just open GitHub and search for BMSAIT. And here are two repositories that are needed. First of all, this is the Hammer X BMSAIT project and also the Hammer X BMSAIT Sketch Assistant. Just open the project, go to code, download the zip file, and all the necessary files will be saved on your hard drive. Also, what you're going to need is a software to flash the sketches to your Arduino boards. I recommend to use the Arduino IDE software. It's available on arduino.cc, and also if you wish, you can use the Windows Store. There, the software is available too. If you want to use BMSAIT to send input signals to your simulation, I recommend to install the VJoy software too. This software will allow you to create virtual joysticks and use these virtual joysticks to send DirectX keys to your simulation instead of keyboard keys. So if you have downloaded the software, let's have a look at the files. I've put the two zip files from GitHub here. What I recommend next is to create a folder structure for BMSAIT. So find a location on your hard drive, create a folder called BMSAIT or something else. And in this folder, you should find something like this. You'll get one folder to put in the program files. You have one folder for the unedited vanilla files of BMSAIT, the sketches for the Arduino. And also, you should create 3 folders to save your output files. We will need one folder for your projects, one folder for configs, and one folder for sketches. Our projects, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, projects are files created with the sketch editor. These project files will contain all the settings you have done in the sketch editor. The configs folder, you can put in the ini files created with the sketch editor. These files contain all the data needed by the Windows application, for example, like keyboard commands or something like that. And at the sketches folder here, you will find all the files to flash your Arduino board. So these files contain all the information needed by the Arduino board itself. Now you're going to need to copy the Windows program files to your folder structure. Open the zip files from GitHub, browse to the 02 Windows app folder, and you'll find the necessary files for the BMSAIT main software. Select these and copy them to the Windows apps folder. Do the same for the Sketch Assistant. Open the zip file, browse to the Sketch Assistant beta folder, and copy these files to the same folder. You'll get a warning that some files are duplicate. That's no problem, just override them. Also, open the BMSAIT vanilla folder in the Sketch Assistant. Here are all the necessary vanilla sketches for the Arduino boards. Select all these files and copy them to the BMSAIT vanilla folder of your folder structure. And now you're good to go, and we can have a look at the software itself. In your folder structure, we're going to open the Windows Apps folder, and we'll start off with the BMSAIT main software. If you started for the first time, you might get a warning. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to disable this. I guarantee that there is no faulty code in there. Just open the software and you'll see that it's in German. If you open it for the first time, you need to go to this button Grundeinstellungen, click it, and here you'll find an option where you can switch the language to English. Save the options, all the warnings here. Close the program, open it once more. Now everything will be set up to English. And we can continue to edit the basic settings. Essentially, these are references to some files needed for BMSAIT to work. We start off with the BMSAIT variables. You can find this file in your Windows Apps folder. Just click on this button here, select the file, and the folder will be saved. And the same applies to the gauge tables CSV. Also select the file and save this. The default user configuration here, you can select a configuration that will be opened by default if you launch BMSAIT. So we can have a look at our configs folder. I've set up some examples here. You can select one of the configurations and save it in the basic settings. It's not mandatory, but makes life easier for BMSAIT. The location of the pilot ini, this is only needed if you want to use the backup radio function of BMSAIT because the ini file contains some frequencies we need to include it in the backup radio functions. I'll leave it open here, but if you want, yeah, you can browse to your BMS folder and select your current ini file. Some further options. The auto start option, if you set it to on, then BMSAIT will establish communication with the Arduino boards automatically if you launch BMSAIT. If you leave it off, then BMSAIT will start up, but you have to manually commence the communication with the Arduino boards. I'll leave it off at this time. The data poll rate, that's a time value, how often the software is supposed to look for fresh data from the shared memory of BMS. Default should be 200 milliseconds. The joystick simulation, as mentioned, if you have established or if you have installed the VJoy software, you can set it to on to establish communication with the VJoy software. And for the DCS integration, if you want to use BMSAIT to communicate with the with the DCS software too, you can set it to on, and then you have to set up an UDP port on which the data from DCS will be broadcasted. I'll talk about that later, how to establish this communication. At this time, I'll leave it on off. Okay, save the settings. And now you're good to go for the BMSAIT main software. Now it's almost done. Finally, some basic settings need to be set up in the Sketch Assistant too. Open the Sketch Assistant. You'll get a warning that some files could not be loaded. The reason is that the basic settings are not set up yet. Same applies here as in the BMSAIT main software. It's just some references you need to set. Here it's a vanilla folder that contains the vanilla files. Just click on this button and browse to your folder structure where you put in the folder with the vanilla files. Select it, OK. The BMSAIT variables file, the same file you selected in the BMSAIT main software. Just select the file, open it, and the config folder. Same applies here. Just browse to your file structure, select the config folder you created, and finally the Arduino sketches. I think you get the idea. select the folder, and it's done. VJoy emulation. Also, if you want to use the VJoy software, you can enable it here. So in the sketch editor, you'll be able to assign DirectX keys to some outputs. Save the file, close the program. If you open the Sketch Assistant one more time, you should not get any more warnings. You'll get a message that the variables have been loaded successfully, and you'll get a selection of all the modules available in BMSAIT. The setup is complete. That concludes this video. In another video, I'll give you some examples on how to start with your own projects. But yeah, that's it for now. Have a good day.